Hi, this is John Cowan with the Doobie Brothers, backstage at the DTE Amphitheater in Detroit, Michigan. And you're watching for BassPlayersOnly.com.
Hi everyone, John Liebman here. You're watching for BassPlayersOnly.com. We are outside the big venue in Clarkston, Michigan, getting ready for the big show with Dave Mason, Journey, and the Doobie Brothers. We are here with the bass player for the Doobie Brothers, longtime bass player for the Doobie Brothers, John Cowan. How are you, John?
I'm good, John. It's nice to meet you. Nice to see you. Nice to be here.
It is an honor and a pleasure to meet you, and we have something in common. We were both born in Ohio, so we've got that going for us. I think we have different allegiances to the sports teams, but we can...
You're probably not big on the Buckeyes, I'm guessing.
No, I'm not, and you better be careful with what you say and to whom you say it around here.
Say anything, okay.
And I know you spent a lot of time in Kentucky. I want to get to the Doobie Brothers in a minute, but the people that you've played with, such a long list of people, everybody from Winona to Glenn Campbell to on and on and on. There are an awful lot of country music stars that you played in. Is that a special passion for you? Is that something that is near and dear to your heart?
I think it has everything to do with the fact that I moved as part of the band Newgrass Revival to Nashville officially in 1980. And I've just been deep entrenched in the musical culture there, which is just amazing and vast, and there's so much more to it than country music. And it's just a great place to live. And I think because of living there and the band that I was part of for so many years, it's ended up being my calling card for the rest of my career.
I have spent some time in Nashville, and I've always liked the vibe there. It's very friendly. It's different than New York. It's different than LA. The collegiality, the way that all the musicians, everybody seems to know each other. Everybody seems to like each other. Is that just a naive perception, or is that truly the case?
No, it's not, and I'm not sure if that's part of the nature of Southerners, because Nashville now is full of expats from all over the world and all over the country. But I will say that Nashville, my experience in Nashville has been one of collaboration, cooperation, support, dignity, and respect, and that seems to happen a lot. People are really supportive of each other. Musicians are supportive of each other.
How did you become a bass player in the first place?
My first neighborhood band, honestly, was like, you play the bass. I was like, okay.
What's a bass, right?
Well, no, I knew what a bass was because, fortunately, when I was a preteen and early teenagers, when the Beatles hit the United States of America when I was 11 or 10, I guess, and it was a perfect time. And I'd already loved music. I grew up singing in the church, so I was already a singer. And it was a great time. It's like, I think that it was a happy accident, perhaps serendipitous, that I got to be a bass player.
Who were some of your bass heroes or influences once you first discovered the instrument?
Paul McCartney, obviously, but I remember buying the Stax 45 Knock on Wood by Eddie Floyd. I can remember the look of that 45, and I didn't know who Duck Dunn was at the time. Of course, I found out not too much after that, but I remember trying to learn how to play Knock on Wood, and that was a tall order for a guy that was just starting.
Tell me about this tour here with the Doobie Brothers. You were with them, and then you left, and then you came back, but you're like a long time bass player with the Doobie Brothers. Tell me about the gig and the tour and all things Doobie.
Well, this is my second tour of duty, as I like to say.
Tour of Doobie.
The tour of Doobie. It's Pat Simmons who just walked by, and I had a band in 1991 with Bill Lloyd from Foster & Lloyd and Rusty Young from Poco, and it was initially called Four Wheel Drive. And we made a record for RCA, and then it's a long story, but during that period, the Doobies kind of got reactivated. And Pat said, because we were already playing in another band together, he said, you want to go do some shows playing bass for the Doobies? And I was like, duh. Yeah, when do we leave? So that was an almost 3-year period. I was there 92, 93, a little bit into 94. And then I came back in 2010 when Skylark, amazing bass player, amazing human being, had some health complications, and I've been here since then.
Now, I've been listening to the Doobie Brothers, as most of us have, for 40 plus years, and we know all the hits, but when you see them all listed together in one place, it's quite a much longer list than I think most people realize. Now, who's coming out to the shows? Is it the people that remember the band from the early days, or is it people bringing their kids, or is it a new generation that's discovering classic rock, or any above, none of the above, all of the above?
I think because of this particular tour we're doing this summer, there's been 3 legs, but we just started the final leg of this tour, and it's with Journey and Dave Mason and the Doobie Brothers. Dave plays, and then we play, and then Journey plays. And Journey is insanely popular right now. So what we're seeing, what's great for the Doobie Brothers, is we're getting exposed to Journey fans, and the Journey fans seem to be of all ages. They're people, some people my age, some people in their 40s, and we see kids too. So it's a great opportunity for the band.
We touched a little bit on your solo career. I did learn a new word reading up about you, Newgrass. What is Newgrass, and how does that fit into your solo career? Tell us about that a little bit.
Well, Newgrass, actually, it's kind of sweet that it has become seemingly a separate genre of music. And I was in a band that helped promote that. The band I was in was called the Newgrass Revival, which consisted, when I joined in 1974, of Sam Bush on the mandolin and fiddle, myself on electric bass, Courtney Johnson on banjo and vocals, and Curtis Birch on acoustic guitar and dobro and vocals. We took a traditional form of music, which was bluegrass, and we were 20-something hippies that had grown up. We were prime. We were right in the middle of the culture clash of the late 60s, early 70s. So we recorded Leon Russell songs, and now the band had electric bass, mandolin, fiddle, dobro, banjo, acoustic guitar. But we recorded Bob Marley tunes, we did Marvin Gaye tunes, we did Leon Russell tunes, we did Jerry Lee Lewis tunes, Bruce Coburn songs. It goes on, and we wrote our own music too. So it was a bunch of young guys that could really play, that loved this art form called bluegrass, and wanted to put our own imprint on it. And we weren't the only band that ever did it. That's why there's now a genre called Newgrass music.
Tell me briefly about your equipment: basses, strings, amps, effects, if any.
It's changed a lot over the years. In 1975, I bought a 62 Fender jazz bass, which I still have, which is my favorite instrument in the world. I use it some with my own band. I don't bring it out with the Doobies because it's passive, and also I'm a little wary of adding any extra wear to it. I mean, it's in really good condition. It doesn't look in good condition, but it plays really well. It's very sturdy, but I'm just a little nervous about the way we travel and how much we work in the Doobie Brothers. So what I've discovered through various other bass players, Michael Rhodes and my friend Gary West, I discovered Sadowsky basses, and Roger's become a friend because, unbeknownst to me, Roger's a bluegrass fan.
I did not know that about Roger. Next time I see him, I'll have to bring that up.
It was one of those things where I went and I said, "No, my name's John Cowan. I know you don't know me, but I really want to play your basses." And he was like, "I know who you are. I love the Newgrass Revival." So I bought 2 of the Will Lee models. The only changes I've made is at one point I put P-bass pickups in the front. So both of my Will Lee models have P-bass and jazz bass pickups.
You mentioned Will. It just brought up a question. I know Will likes to leave the pick guard on that they had in the old days. I think Marcus does that too, Marcus Miller. I don't know how they can do that, but that's why they're Will Lee and Marcus Miller. Do you leave yours on or take it off?
No, mine is off because when I bought my 62, the pick guard was already gone. So I've spent 40 some years playing it without it. So for me, I mean, yeah, I get it aesthetically that it looks pretty cool, and you can, I've seen Will do that too, and he seems to play behind the pick guard and above the pick guard, but I'm just,
I'm glad you get it because I don't get it. What about?
Well, it looks pretty cool.
It does, shiny. What about strings and amps and stuff?
Amps. I don't actually use an amp with the Doobies. We use these JR ear monitors, which are amazing, and I just got a new set that have, believe it or not, have 4 chambers in them for bass. So the bass sounds amazing in them. So I don't use an amp on stage with the band, and I've been using Diodario strings forever.
Okay. How about the future?
Flat ones. I use flats with the Doobies because I tried. One thing about my job that I love very much is that Tyran Porter, who's the original bassist, is an amazing bassist. And it doesn't matter what Doobie song you listen to, the parts that he came up with are so creative and so melodic and so funky and so in the pocket. I don't play with the pick like he did.
To ask you that.
He played with the pick and used flat wound strings on those early records. I know he switched as the years went on, but because I play with my fingers, I decided that the more muted tone that I was looking for was going to be available to me in the flat strings, so that's what I do.
How much are you expected to come up with your own lines, and how much are you expected to play Tyran's lines?
No one has ever said one word to me.
What about you when you're approaching it? How do you approach the songs?
I try to. Honestly, I feel like I pay tribute to him every time I play because I'm so mindful of what he did, and what he did is so perfect for these songs, and it's what I'm used to hearing. I have the freedom to interject my own personality, and I think I do that to some extent, but I kind of feel like, why fix something that ain't broke? It's unbelievably beautiful. So that's, to me, it's just, it's funny because I've seen the same thing in action. Like, the guy that plays bass, some of the guys that have played bass with Sam Bush over the years, who was my partner in Newgrass, when he does Newgrass revival tunes, I've seen them duplicate some of the lines that I played, and it's very flattering, and it's like, I get it,
That's gotta make you feel good.
It does.
How about the future, John? What else would you like to do that you haven't already accomplished?
I don't know. I'm probably going to make another record. I put a solo record out.
60, right?
Yeah, that came out almost 2 years ago now. It was produced by John McPhee of the Doobies.
Oh, really?
He's an amazing musician. Amazing. And we were just talking today, so I'm going to make another record. I don't know what it's going to be yet. I really don't. I've made, I think, 6 altogether since about 1998. 5, maybe 5.
I've got to ask you, is this too obvious of a question? My daughter wants to know the name of the band, the Doobie Brothers. Where did that come from?
I think it's about marijuana, but I'm not sure.
No.
I wasn't there in the beginning, so.
All right. Well, last question, John. What would you be if you weren't a bass player or a vocalist? Something outside of music.
I have no idea. If something happened to where I couldn't sing and play at this time in my life, I am pretty sure, I've been in recovery for a long time, I would do something that has to do with working with other alcoholics and addicts. I do that anyways because that's how I stay sober, but I'm pretty sure that I don't know if I'd make a profession of it. I would find a way to be of service and maybe make a living doing that.
Well, you've got a big heart, and you're obviously a good person. And I'm glad things worked out the way they did. Keep singing and keep playing the bass.
Thanks, John.
Much luck, continued success to you. Great getting to know you.
You too, thanks very much.
Enjoy the rest of the tour. Safe travels with Doobie Brothers bass player John Cowan. I am John Liebman. You're watching for BassPlayersOnly.com.